Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to another episode in the NeoForged series. In this episode, we'll be exploring recipe generation. So while I haven't uploaded in a month, NeoForge has gone from beta to stable release, and the current latest stable release is 21.0.150. And that's just the same here. So I'll just change both the Neo version range and the Neo version, and this will basically just mean that it basically no longer beta. So that means there won't be any major changes for NeoForge. So to get started with a recipe generation, you just want to head over to your data folder and just create a new folder called recipe. And then within the recipe folder, you want to create a class, call it main mod recipe provider. And this is where we're going to house our recipe classes, which we will run just to make everything just cleaner. So you're gonna call extend and call recipe provider, and then call implement the method needed, and also call the constructor that you need. Just close this, and these just remain the same. But now we want to just call. I want to create a field called protected final data generator, which is the Minecraft data generator, and then also you're gonna have private final complete future, and that's going to be the registries. The reason why we're going to have these is because in the build recipes we're going to have our recipes, for example furnace recipes in a separate class, and our normal recipes in a separate class, and maybe even recipes such as smithing table, or even your custom ones, which I will be showing to you later on in another episodes. Alright, so you just wanna instantiate these methods. So generator, and then registries, it's not get generator, it's this generator equals, alright, let's just change this to data generator and generator. Alright, that should be fine. Generator.get pack output. Alright, so for the build recipes, we just want to head over to our recipes folder. I'm going to create a folder called provider. So in here, inside recipe, we're going to call a folder called provider, and then within provider, we want to create a class called furnace recipe provider, and also create another class called normal crafting recipe provider. So within normal crafting recipe provider, this is where we're going to create our normal crafting recipes. So we're going to do is extend our main mod recipe provider, and have a final. We're going to create a field private final recipe output, and then recipe output, and then you just want to create the constructor, and in here you want to have recipe output, and just instantiate that here. And now we want to create a method called public void build, and this is why we're going to build our recipes. So build. Alright, so there's two types of recipes. There's shaped recipe builder and a shapeless recipe builder. So shaped recipe builder has to be crafted in a certain order, like a pickaxe, sword, or axe, or an example like that. And shapeless recipe builder is like making an iron block, for example. So there's no order, as everything is just like an iron block is just a 3x3 just iron. So that's a shapeless recipe builder. Alright, so we're gonna create our first shapeless recipe builder, and we're gonna call, say, shapeless. Shapeless recipe builder dot shapeless, and here we're going to do recipe category. So the category for our recipe dot building block, and then our blocks, our block, which is going to be block init dot example block dot get, and how many you want to get when the user crafts item, and then what the required ingredients. So requires ingredient dot ob, and then we're going to use tags in here. If you haven't seen that, you can check out the previous tutorial, and you're going to call example ingredient. This is the ingredient, not the actual block. So example item tag, and then we're going to say we need 9 of those to craft our block, and then it has to be unlocked by getting the example item tag. This basically means that, for example, say this is an achievement that allows you to open it in the Minecraft recipe book thing in the craft table. For example, you mine wood. As soon as you pick up the wood, it unlocks a whole bunch of recipes you can see in the Minecraft recipe book. So that's what that does. And then save this, basically just save the recipe output. And also we need to we also just going to do get mod ID, and in here we want to call the recipe. It has to be, each recipe has to have a unique name or you'll result in an error. Get example item underscore block underscore recipe. And if you head back over to your main mod recipe provider, you want to just create a method called get mod ID, and just creates the mod ID plus the name of the recipe. And alright, we're just gonna stick to shapeless recipe builder, but later on in the series, once we explore armor and items, then that's when we use the shaped recipe builder. And now we're gonna head over to a furnace recipe provider. Here is where we're gonna have the recipes to smelt our ore. So we're going to do extend main recipe provider, and similarly we're going to call the constructor, and we're going to do private final recipe output, and then we're going to just add it to our constructor. So recipe output, and then call the method public void build. So there's a couple of types of recipe builders. So you can have the smelting, blasting, and also can have there's one other. So if you can just check them out here. So you have smelting, campfire, cooking, and blasting. We're just going to be using the smelting. So we're going to do ingredient .of, and here I'm going to do tags init, tags init, and we're going to example raw tag, which is what we get when we mine when we mine both deep slate and example ore. And then once we do that, we want to add the recipe category, which is going to be just miscellaneous, and then also the item that we want to get after we smelted it, and it's just going to be the example item. And then here we're going to do how long it takes and the amount of experience points, that's experience points we get, and that's the cooking time. And then how it's unlocked by getting the raw tag and that's the name. And then we're also going to do the same thing for blasting. Blasting is just quicker than smelting, so that's why you want to have it just a smaller time, as in like lesser of a time than the original cooking. So now that we've built it, head over to your main mod recipe provider, and now we're gonna call them. So all we have to do is just instantiate them. So new crafting tier recipe provider, and then call registries and the pack output or build, and just do the same thing here. And then once you've done that, head over to your data generator and then just call it here. So data generator, add provider, and just do a main mod recipe provider, and that's it. And now you should just run your data, and your recipe should be created and appear in your folder. So later on, once you create your own custom recipes, that's when you can explore just everything integrations, like with that mod, which allows you to have on the side when you open your inventory all those recipes. But for now, these ones already be automatically added because they're just seamlessly integrated into vanilla rather than having your custom. So here recipes, and now you can see you have your recipes here, and this is your shape list, so you can use it to craft your block. So that's pretty much it for today's episode. In the next episode, we'll be looking at other aspects in Minecraft, probably tags. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Have a great time. Peace out, and assalamu alaikum.